I'm Lindsay McPherson, and I'm the College and Career Readiness Counselor at Taylor County High School, and I'm here with Brandy Close, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her career field. Brandy's an interesting person for us to talk to today because she's kind of got two unique careers. She's got a career in OT, occupational therapy, but she's also an entrepreneur. She started her own business in this community. So what's your official job title?
I'm occupational therapist and co-owner of the Kids Spot Center.
Okay, and so describe your job a little bit. First, talk a little bit about what occupational therapy is and how you got into that, and then how did you become a business owner?
An occupational therapist is someone that helps, in my case, children. I'm a pediatric occupational therapist, so I help kids with all levels of disabilities, from just a little trouble with handwriting to kids who are severely physically and mentally handicapped. And it's really, occupational therapy is supposed to be skills for the job of living. So it's anything that feeding, bathing, toileting, and then there's also OT focuses a lot on fine motor. So the writing part, cutting, dressing, like buttons and zippers, tying your shoes. Also, occupational therapy has a big focus in sensory integration. So kids that have trouble hearing loud sounds or scratchy clothes or what else? Like they can't stand mashed potatoes in their mouth or things like that. Those are different things that an OT does, especially a pediatric OT.
Awesome. And now describe a little bit about how you got into the business of owning your own business.
Well, I was a school occupational therapist for 8 years, 4 years here at Taylor County. And I just, as an OT, didn't feel like I could, you have to be educationally based at school, and I didn't feel like I could make an impact on the kids' lives here because it was so educationally based, which is a great thing for educational OT, but I wanted to do something a little different. So I became great friends with a speech therapist who had the same passion as I did to help kids. Specifically, we started it for kids with autism, but now we have tons of all different kinds of kids. And we just decided there was a huge need here in Campbellsville for a place for kids to come who needed OT and speech is how we got started. It's been 6 years.
And now how many locations do you have?
We have 3 locations now, and we offer OT, speech therapy, physical therapy, mental health counseling, positive behavior supports, and we also have a couple other programs, a community living support and a respite program.
So you took your passion, which was therapy, and you saw a need in the community, and it's just built and built and built.
Yes.
Which shows, that's the true heart of an entrepreneur, I think, is finding the need and then having the service that fits that need. And obviously, the way you've been able to expand and expand means that people in this community desperately needed that service. All right, so what type of education did you have to be qualified for your job? Okay.
So originally, whenever I graduated, in 2003, you had to have a bachelor's degree to practice occupational therapy. You also have to take a national board and do internships and all that kind of stuff. But the year after that, they went to a master's level entry into the program. So I went straight back and got a master's specializing in pediatrics.
Awesome. What types of schools in Kentucky, like where did you go to school?
I went to school at EKU.
Okay.
In Kentucky, EKU and Spalding are the only 2 that offer occupational therapy.
Awesome. How did you know you wanted to be an occupational therapist?
I thought about this morning. I always wanted to be a pediatric surgeon. So I was in a program here at school where you got career ready. It was probably something similar to what you're doing, and it was Emma Reeves. And she put me with somebody at the hospital to job shadow surgery. So I was there, and I immediately knew that was not what I wanted to do. So someone that was in there that day said, well, why don't you look into OT? So I did, and it just looked like there was such a big need. It kept popping up as like the top 10 upcoming jobs, and I knew I wanted to help people, specifically kids, so it just seemed like the right fit.
Yeah, so it's great that you had that experience early on, finding out what you didn't like, because it would have been horrible to go through 8 years of school and then realize you didn't like it. That's awesome. What are some special skills that people in your line of work need to possess?
Patience, especially with kids, well, and adults too, because they have, most adults that an occupational therapist would see have been through some kind of traumatic experience, a stroke or a brain injury, or it could have just been like they've broken their arm or something, but still it's a traumatic experience. So you have to be patient and know that progress can be slow. And you also have to be compassionate for the field so that you can work with the kids or adults who are really struggling.
Excellent. You talked about this a little bit. What were the things you did in high school to prepare you for this career? Was there anything in addition to going on that job shadowing and realizing that wasn't your...
I, in high school, tried to take all the science stuff that I could because I knew whether I was going to be a pediatric surgeon or an OT once I decided that it was heavily, it was heavy in science. I also did a lot of dual credit stuff so that I could get out of college sooner. I graduated high school with 19 hours.
Awesome.
So I was a semester ahead, so I didn't have to worry about, just being there forever and not getting into my program and then
so you laid a strong foundation in high school.
Yeah.
I think that's something a lot of our students forget about. They know they want, some of them think they want to be a doctor or a vet, but then they only take 3 science classes when we offer 4, 5, 6 science classes they can take. That's really good advice. So what is one piece of advice you have for students interested in your career field? If you've got a kid and they come to see you and they're interested in being an occupational therapist, what's one piece of advice you would give them?
Well, one thing would be to shadow, for sure, to make sure that's what you want to do. And then to try to go ahead and get, it's more than one.
That's okay.
To be heavy in science so that you just have that background. When you start taking your college courses, it's a little easier. And then to get as much done in high school as you can, as far as college credits.
Yeah, that's really great advice. That's what I've been trying to stress with students. Almost all of the growth fields that can bring jobs back to this community are STEM fields, so science, technology, engineering, and math. So the more we have students taking upper level science courses, the better it is for any job that they might want to go into. Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to add about your career, how you ended up in it?
No, I think being an OT is one of the greatest things possible. Whether you want to be a pediatric OT or a rehab OT or a long-term care OT, there's a million opportunities. And you can mold it into whatever you really feel a passion for. So.
And I will say, every time I've seen you and your colleagues, y'all are always smiling and laughing, so it seems like you're loving what you're doing every day. And that's what I think anybody wants in a job, is to love what they're doing.
I think we do.
Awesome. Well, thank you for talking with us today. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
This is Brandy Close. She's an occupational therapist. She works at the Kids Spot here in Campbellsville, and they have 2 other locations. And this has been our Career Spotlight for today.